Okay, so for part 2 of this, part 1 we upgraded the electronics. So part 2, we're gonna put on a neck. I got my hockey stick, but what we need to do is we're gonna get the headstock to match the body. So what I got was, over at Ace, I got some satin Canyon black, which looks like it's a pretty good match for this body. All I'm gonna do is just paint the face. I'll leave this. I'll leave the back. I'll leave this the way it is. It's got a nice satin finish to it, so it feels pretty good. And I'm just scuffing this up so the paint will have something to adhere to. I got some tuners that I'll be picking up a little bit later today. They're the Godot 510 minis. So it'd be really nice, smooth, black. So everything will be black on here eventually. So. Okay, so just a quick rundown, catch everybody up. This is a Sawtooth STM 24. This is their less expensive model. It's about 250 bucks. It's a nice guitar. It came with the white pickups, white knobs, and from the other video, from part 1, we replaced the pickups and the electrics, except for the output and the switch. Put the Wolfgang bridge, and I've got a Wolfgang neck on order. And before I put the neck off, I just thought I'd give you guys a quick rundown. This is a Sawtooth STM24 series. There's 2 of them. There's this one, which is about 250, and then there's another one that's about 500, and it's white, and it has a Floyd Rose on it. But they're fine guitars. There's nothing wrong with this one. I just wanted to I wanted a little project, and I wanted to have a hockey stick. The neck is nice. This neck is fantastic. Feels nice. I'm leaving these 2 so that when I put the new neck on and I'm trying to make sure that it properly fits, that I've got the strings so that I can make sure that it's properly aligned with what's on there now. Next comes the neck. Alright, so what I've done is I pulled the neck off. I took the new neck, put it into the slot, and then ran some starter holes for the screws, and then I got that ready. Okay, so you can see where they put like a little shim there. And this new neck is just a little looser. It's not as tight, but it's still pretty snug. And so we'll get that tightened down. We'll put a temporary two tuners in, and just to make sure that it's set up right, and we'll go from there. All right. So what I've done here is added the little retainer here. Eventually, we will put a Floyd Rose on there, but with this and the angle coming off, it's not going to hold on there. But with this little thing here, it holds pretty good. So we'll try that. We'll see how that goes. I do have a locking nut, but I figured we'd do the locking nut when we go from hardtail to a Floyd. And then once I do that, I'm going to take the neck off. There was a shim underneath this area here, so I'm going to take that shim out, and then put the neck back on. We'll flip it upside down, and we'll install the tuners. The Godot 510s. Alright, so these are the tuners, and what we'll do is we'll put these in. We'll just snug it kind of not too tight, and then what we'll do is I'll run a straight edge so that we can make sure that they're all lined up like they're supposed to be, and then we'll drill the starter hole for the little screws that hold it in. Alright, so just checking to make sure it all looks, we don't have any particular tuner crooked. All right, we'll drill the retaining holes now for the retaining screws. Just enough to get it started. You don't want to split the wood, or you don't want it to, go in crooked or anything. because you only got one shot at this. All right, so we got that on. After putting in the screws, what I did is I just tighten these down a little bit more. So look good, nice and smooth. We'll put strings back on it. I'm going to use 9.5 to 44s. The neck looks pretty good with no tension on it, so that's nice. We tuned it up. Probably need to stretch the strings a little bit, but I wanted to see how things are looking, and looking pretty good. As far as alignment goes, it's looking pretty good. No bow, so you don't have to touch the truss rod yet. But what you'll notice is the action is way high. So I didn't glue the nut in after I swapped it around. Something us lefties got to do, we're used to doing. I'll shave the nut down a little bit, and then we'll add a little bit more radius. We'll bring this one down, that one down a little bit, and we'll keep these where these are at, and we'll just kind of, we'll go from there, and we'll keep tuning. Get that sucker. And I'll turn it around so that way if I accidentally, I'm leaning to one side or the other, it'll kind of, hopefully it'll even it out and it should be okay. And by flipping it around, if I'm putting too much pressure here and not enough there, it's not going to be even and all that. So by shifting it around like that, should even it out pretty good. So just okay. So putting on the hockey stick, we got done with that. We had to put this on. I'll be putting a Floyd on this, so we'll put a locking nut. That'll be for part 3. We'll put a locking nut on. We'll drill a hole for the Floyd, and we'll route out the back so we can put the claw and the springs on. And then later on, when I get the neck, we'll put the neck Wolfgang in. But this is just the no friction Malmsteen pot, just a standard tone pot, 0.022 microfarad, but we'll just that was the bridge. Here's both pickups. Now the neck. Turn the tone down now. Try something else. that's that for right now for part 2, and like I said, part 3 we'll put a Floyd on and we'll gain it up a little bit.